The stars stretched endlessly across the void, glittering like shards of broken glass against the black canvas of space. Commander Elias stood at the bridge of the Aurora, fingers drumming nervously against the railing as the crew monitored the faint, irregular signal emanating from the distant star system. Humanity had heard whispers of strange phenomena in this sector, signals that defied known physics, but no one had dared venture this far until now. "Commander, the source is intensifying," Lieutenant Mara said, her voice taut with excitement and unease. "It's almost alive." Elias narrowed his eyes. "Alive or intelligent, Mara? There's a difference." The crew exchanged glances. Elias had always been a careful man, a thinker, and yet the air of anticipation that surrounded this mission was impossible to ignore. He felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, the thrill of experiencing the unknown. But this was different. Something about the signal felt deliberate. The Aurora shuddered as it entered the outer perimeter of the system. A colossal alien vessel hung in orbit around a gas giant, its design unlike anything humans had ever seen. Sleek, metallic curves reflected the light of a nearby sun, and intricate patterns of glowing energy pulsed along its hull. No human ship could have constructed such a thing. "Scan for life signs," Elias ordered. Mara's fingers danced over the console. Multiple life forms detected, but readings are unusual, not like anything in our database. Elias took a deep breath. "Prepare the shuttle. I'll go down personally." The shuttle descended toward the alien vessel, trembling slightly in the gravitational pull. When the airlock opened, Elias's heart pounded in his chest. The chamber before him was vast, impossibly large, yet eerily quiet. Shadows seemed to ripple along the walls, and the faint hum of energy made the air feel charged, almost sentient. And then she appeared. Standing at the far end of the chamber, the alien woman's armor gleamed with an otherworldly light. She moved with a grace that was unsettling, each step deliberate, measured. Her presence demanded attention, not in a threatening way, but in a way that made Elias feel exposed, as if she could see every hidden thought, every buried fear. "Be brave. Speak your truth, human." The words hung in the air like a challenge, a puzzle he had no choice but to attempt. Elias swallowed hard, finding his voice despite the pounding of his heart. I am Commander Elias of the United Earth Coalition. We come in peace, seeking contact and understanding." Her helmet remained, concealing her face, but the way she inclined her head suggested she was listening, truly listening. "You speak, yet do you understand what truth is?" The voice was melodic, yet carried a weight that made every syllable tremble through the chamber. I believe I do, but perhaps I do not fully understand yours," Elias admitted, taking a cautious step forward. "Humanity has faced fear, conflict, and even its own failings. We are flawed, yes, but we strive, we endure, we learn." There was silence. Elias felt it pressing against him, heavy and intimate, as though the chamber itself were waiting for him to falter. Then a sound like metal sliding echoed through the hall. The alien woman began to remove her armor, slowly, deliberately, exposing not vulnerability, but confidence. Elias's mind raced. His training screamed at him to maintain composure, yet the sight of her unshielded form, unfamiliar and alien, ignited both awe and fear. "You see what we hide, human," she said, her voice soft but unyielding. "Armor conceals, but truth cannot be hidden. What will you do now?" Elias steadied himself, taking in her presence. I speak honestly. I do not fully understand you, but I recognize your strength, your bravery, your right to challenge me, and I will not shrink from that. Humanity faces challenges every day, and yet we speak our truths, even when they are imperfect, even when fear presses us to remain silent. That is what makes us strong." The alien woman paused, considering him. Her movements were precise, yet there was a flicker of something almost like curiosity in her posture. "Interesting.
Few species possess the courage to face the unknown and speak their truth. Fewer still possess the willingness to acknowledge their flaws while asserting their will. Elias felt a flicker of hope. We are human, imperfect, yes, but brave. We fight, we endure, we learn, and we strive to reach beyond ourselves, even when the universe seems indifferent. The alien woman's armor clinked as it fell entirely to the floor, leaving her unshielded. Elias's gaze met hers, and for a moment the room seemed suspended in time. There was no threat, no hostility, only the raw intensity of a being evaluating another. "You speak with honesty and courage," she said, finally. "But words are only one measure. Your species must prove itself, not only in intellect and diplomacy, but in action, in resilience, in the choices it makes when confronted with the unknown." Elias's stomach tightened. He had expected diplomacy, perhaps curiosity, but not a test. And yet he understood. This was not just about humanity's place in the galaxy. It was about what humanity was at its core. "Then we will show you," he said firmly. "We will demonstrate what it means to be human, not flawless, not perfect, but courageous and determined. That is our truth." For the first time, the alien woman's stance softened. "Very well, Commander Elias. Then the trial begins. And remember, your armor, your weapons, even your mind, these are not enough. You must speak and act with truth." A subtle vibration ran through the chamber, almost as if the alien ship itself had acknowledged his declaration. Elias felt exhilaration and dread. The real challenge was about to begin, and he knew that whatever happened next would define humanity's first encounter with an advanced species. As he stepped forward, leaving the shuttle behind, Elias felt the weight of the universe pressing against him, and yet a spark burned within. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and it would face them again. He was ready. The alien woman's gaze followed him, sharp and piercing, and she whispered just loud enough for him to hear, "Be brave, speak your truth, human." And with that, the chamber doors sealed behind him.
Before he could respond, the void shifted again. Elias was transported to a hostile alien world, jagged mountains clawing at stormy skies, lightning splitting the air. The ground trembled beneath his feet as if the planet itself were alive and hostile. Shadows moved in impossible directions, and creatures that defied human comprehension lurked at the edges of his vision. A voice, Liara's, omnipresent and unwavering, echoed around him. "You have seen death, Commander Elias. You have seen failure. But can you act when the world itself conspires against you?" Elias's mind raced. This was no longer just a test of honesty or morality. It was survival, adaptation, ingenuity, the very core of what made humans endure. He took a deep breath, grounding himself. Observe, analyze, act. That was what humans did, no matter the odds. He began moving forward, navigating the jagged terrain with precision. A massive chasm suddenly split the ground ahead, forcing him to leap across a gap that seemed impossible. He landed awkwardly but steady, heart racing, not with fear, but determination. The creatures lurking in the shadows lunged at him, their forms shifting like liquid metal. Elias reacted instinctively, using a fallen boulder to knock one aside, then luring another into a crevice. Liara's voice softened slightly, almost approvingly. "You are human. You improvise. You adapt. You survive not through perfection, but through ingenuity and will." The ground beneath him gave way, plunging him into darkness. Elias fell into a subterranean cavern, the walls glittering with crystals that pulsed with an inner light. Here the simulation shifted again, not with external threats, but with internal ones. He found himself facing reflections of himself, one cowardly, one arrogant, one indecisive, all mocking him silently. "Face yourself, human," Liara whispered. "Truth is meaningless without understanding who you are." Elias took a deep breath.
"I am Commander Elias," he said firmly. "I have made mistakes, I have doubted myself, I have feared. But I also lead, I also endure, I also inspire. That is my truth." One by one, the reflections dissolved, leaving only Elias standing alone in the crystalline cavern. Light cascaded around him, forming intricate patterns that seemed to respond to his words, to his very essence. He felt a surge of clarity, a connection not just to himself, but to humanity as a whole. The collective courage, the resilience, the flaws and triumphs intertwined. The void shifted again. He was now back in the chamber aboard Liara's vessel. The walls shimmered, returning to their original metallic sheen. Liara stood before him, her armor fully removed now, revealing her ethereal form. She was breathtaking, tall and elegant, her skin shimmering with subtle luminescence, eyes like liquid stars. Yet it was her presence, calm and unwavering, that was most commanding. "You have endured the trial of mind and spirit, human," she said softly, almost reverently. "Few species possess the ability to confront truth without breaking. Few would survive the confrontation with themselves. Yet you have done so, and in so doing, you have proven that humanity's strength lies not in perfection, but in courage and adaptation." Elias exhaled, trembling slightly from the intensity of the experience. I don't know if I deserve such praise." "You do not require praise. You require acknowledgement, understanding that truth and bravery are your weapons, and they are rare in the universe. Your species may be fragile, but fragility does not preclude greatness." The chamber shifted again, this time revealing a series of holographic images: human cities, space stations, laboratories, and battlefields. Each scene highlighted moments of human perseverance: scientists racing to cure diseases, astronauts navigating hostile environments, soldiers protecting civilians. Elias recognized familiar faces among the holograms, friends and comrades he had lost. "These moments," Liara said, her voice resonant with gravity, "define humanity. Not strength alone, not technology, not strategy, but courage, resilience, and the willingness to act despite fear." Elias's eyes burned with emotion. "We fight, we endure, we fail, and we rise again. That is who we are." Liara's gaze softened further, almost imperceptibly. "And yet, there is more to learn. Your species has the potential to inspire and challenge others in the galaxy. But first, you must continue to face what lies ahead. The trial has begun, but it is far from over." Suddenly, the chamber's floor vibrated. A panel opened, revealing a corridor leading deep into the ship's core. Elias realized that this was more than psychological testing. It was a prelude to a challenge that would test every skill, every instinct, every moral fiber he possessed. He took a step forward. His training, his humanity, his very identity would be on trial. And yet, for the first time, he felt a strange exhilaration, a certainty that no matter what came next, humans had something unique to offer. "Are you ready, human?" Liara's voice echoed, softer now, almost a whisper. Elias squared his shoulders. "I am ready. Not perfect, not invincible, but ready." Liara inclined her head. "Then step forward. Your truth will guide you, and your courage will be your shield. The path ahead is dangerous, but that is where humanity proves itself." As Elias moved into the corridor, the chamber behind him dissolved completely. The stars beyond the vessel glimmered faintly through the hull, a reminder of the infinite universe waiting to judge and perhaps learn from humanity. And as he walked, the words Liara had spoken reverberated in his mind. "Be brave, speak your truth, human." Elias knew that the coming trials would challenge him, his crew, and all of humanity, but for the first time he felt no fear, only determination, only courage, only the spark that had carried his species from the first fire to the farthest reaches of the stars. The corridor stretched endlessly before Elias, sleek and metallic, its walls pulsing with soft light. The air was cool, almost sterile, yet it carried an energy that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Every step echoed through the hollow chamber, a reminder that he was alone, at least for now, in an alien world that defied comprehension. He paused at a junction where the corridor split into 3 paths, each glowing with a different hue: blue, amber, and crimson. A faint vibration ran under his feet, and the soft voice of Liara whispered again, "Choose wisely, human. Truth is not always revealed by sight." Elias studied the paths carefully. His instincts screamed at him that each choice was more than a physical direction. It was a test of judgment, morality, and insight. He chose the blue path, guided not by logic alone, but by a quiet sense of intuition that had served humanity well for centuries. The corridor curved, twisting impossibly, and then opened into a grand chamber that defied spatial understanding. The walls shimmered like liquid crystal, reflecting not only light but faint echoes of thought. And there she was, Liara, standing at the center, no armor to hide her form. Her presence was mesmerizing. She was taller than any human, yet elegantly proportioned. Her skin shimmered with a subtle luminescence, and her eyes, vast, dark pools flecked with light, seemed to see directly into Elias's mind. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, moving gently as if stirred by a breeze he could not feel. "You have come far, human. Truth is not always revealed by sight," she said, her voice melodic yet edged with authority. Few humans would endure the trials so willingly, yet endurance alone is not enough. Courage alone is not enough. You must now confront what lies beyond fear and perception. Elias swallowed hard, every muscle taut. "I am ready." Liara inclined her head and raised her hands. The chamber shimmered, and the air itself seemed to twist and warp. Shapes and forms appeared, creatures and landscapes, some nightmarish, some beautiful beyond description. Memories from Elias's own life flashed before him: battles, losses, victories, moments of doubt and triumph. "You have seen your past, your fears, your failures," Liara said, "but now you will see the universe as it truly is, capable of both creation and destruction, beauty and horror. Will you speak your truth when confronted with it?" Before Elias could respond, a wall of light surged forward, forming a holographic projection of his crew aboard the Aurora. He could see Mara, tense but alert, and the others, each engaged in calculations and emergency protocols. "They are not in danger yet, but your actions will determine whether they are saved or lost. Truth is not only words, Commander Elias. It is the courage to act, the wisdom to decide, and the integrity to stand by those choices." Suddenly, the chamber shifted violently. The holograms flickered, replaced by alien forms, slender, imposing figures with sharp angles and iridescent armor. They advanced toward him, weapons drawn, moving with a grace that was terrifyingly precise. Elias's heart raced. His hand instinctively went to his sidearm, but he knew it would be useless here. This was not a physical confrontation, not in the usual sense. These figures represented judgment, challenge, the culmination of every trial he had faced so far. He steadied his breathing. Observe, adapt, act. He moved deliberately, meeting the figures head-on, not with force, but with resolve. As he walked, each figure shifted, revealing glimpses of his crew in distress, simulations of catastrophic failure. "You will fail," Liara's voice echoed. "All humans fail. Will you accept it, or will you rise above?" Elias remembered the countless stories of humanity's survival, the ingenuity that had allowed them to explore stars, cure disease, and endure wars that should have broken them. He lifted his voice, steady and unwavering. "I am human. I fail. I stumble. I fear. But I endure. I fight. I adapt. And I rise again. That is humanity's truth, and I will act according to it, no matter the cost." The chamber trembled, and the alien figures froze. Light cascaded over the room, and for a moment Elias felt a connection, a resonance with Liara, with the universe, with the essence of what made humanity what it was. Liara stepped forward, her expression inscrutable yet intense. You speak with honesty and courage, but words alone are insufficient. Will you confront what is hidden, what others fear even to see? Elias nodded. The chamber walls dissolved, revealing a vast space filled with geometric constructs, alien in design, some spinning, others pulsing with energy. Within them, Elias glimpsed scenarios of potential futures, humanity thriving among the stars, humanity destroyed by its own hubris, humanity allying with other species or warring against them. You see potential, human. Infinite paths, countless choices, Liara said. Which path will you choose when the unknown presses upon you? Elias felt a chill. It was overwhelming. But he drew strength from humanity's history, the explorers who crossed oceans, the pioneers who reached the moon, the scientists who probed the atom. Humans faced uncertainty daily, yet they acted, learned, and grew stronger. I am human. I fail. I stumble. I fear. But I endure. I fight. I adapt, and I rise again. That is humanity's truth, and I will act according to it, no matter the cost. The chamber trembled, and the alien figures froze. Light cascaded over the room, and for a moment Elias felt a connection, a resonance with Liara, with the universe, with the essence of what made humanity what it was. Liara stepped forward, her expression inscrutable yet intense. You speak with honesty and courage, but words alone are insufficient. Will you confront what is hidden, what others fear even to see? Elias nodded. The chamber walls dissolved, revealing a vast space filled with geometric constructs, alien in design, some spinning, others pulsing with energy. Within them, Elias glimpsed scenarios of potential futures, humanity thriving among the stars, humanity destroyed by its own hubris, humanity allying with other species or warring against them. You see potential, human. Infinite paths, countless choices, Liara said. Which path will you choose when the unknown presses upon you? Elias felt a chill. It was overwhelming, but he drew strength from humanity's history, the explorers who crossed oceans, the pioneers who reached the moon, the scientists who probed the atom. Humans faced uncertainty daily, yet they acted, learned, and grew stronger. I am human. I fail. I stumble. I fear. But I endure. I fight. I adapt, and I rise again. That is humanity's truth, and I will act according to it, no matter the cost. The chamber trembled, and the alien figures froze. Light cascaded over the room, and for a moment Elias felt a connection, a resonance with Liara, with the universe, with the essence of what made humanity what it was. Liara stepped forward, her expression inscrutable yet intense. You speak with honesty and courage, but words alone are insufficient. Will you confront what is hidden, what others fear even to see? Elias nodded. The chamber walls dissolved, revealing a vast space filled with geometric constructs, alien in design, some spinning, others pulsing with energy. Within them, Elias glimpsed scenarios of potential futures, humanity thriving among the stars, humanity destroyed by its own hubris, humanity allying with other species or warring against them. You see potential, human. Infinite paths, countless choices, Liara said. Which path will you choose when the unknown presses upon you? Elias felt a chill. It was overwhelming, but he drew strength from humanity's history, the explorers who crossed oceans, the pioneers who reached the moon, the scientists who probed the atom. Humans faced uncertainty daily, yet they acted, learned, and grew stronger. I am human. I fail. I stumble. I fear. But I endure. I fight. I adapt, and I rise again. That is humanity's truth, and I will act according to it, no matter the cost. The chamber trembled, and the alien figures froze. Light cascaded over the room, and for a moment Elias felt a connection, a resonance with Liara, with the universe, with the essence of what made humanity what it was. Liara stepped forward, her expression inscrutable yet intense. You speak with honesty and courage, but words alone are insufficient. Will you confront what is hidden, what others fear even to see?
Elias nodded. The chamber walls dissolved, revealing a vast space filled with geometric constructs, alien in design, some spinning, others pulsing with energy. Within them, Elias glimpsed scenarios of potential futures, humanity thriving among the stars, humanity destroyed by its own hubris, humanity allying with other species or warring against them. You see potential, human, infinite paths, countless choices, Liara said. Which path will you choose when the unknown presses upon you? Elias felt a chill. It was overwhelming, but he drew.
The corridor leading deeper into the alien vessel pulsed with light, bending in ways that defied human perception. Commander Elias felt the hum of energy beneath his feet, resonating with his heartbeat. He could sense that whatever awaited him ahead would test more than his mind. It would test his instincts, his courage, and his ability to act under impossible circumstances. Liara appeared at the end of the corridor, her form radiant against the pulsing walls. "Beyond this point," she said, her voice calm yet edged with warning, "lies the trial of action. It is one thing to speak truth and face fear in thought. It is another to confront it in reality." Elias swallowed hard. "I am ready." She inclined her head and motioned for him to proceed. The corridor opened into a vast atrium, suspended high above the ship's core. The chamber was alive with activity, alien figures moving with precision, their armor gleaming, their movements coordinated as if rehearsed for centuries. "Observe, human," Liara said. "Some of my people doubt you. They believe your species is unworthy of our trust. They would act to destroy you before understanding you." Elias's stomach tightened. "Then we'll have to prove them wrong." As he stepped forward, alarms blared, and panels along the walls erupted in red light. A section of the atrium doors slammed shut behind him, trapping him in the center. From the shadows, alien figures emerged, slender, tall, and imposing, their armor reflecting the ambient light. Unlike Liara, these aliens moved with hostility, their intentions clear. Elias realized instantly this was no longer a mental or moral test. It was a battle for survival, and his ingenuity would be humanity's weapon. He scanned the atrium. There were no conventional weapons, no energy rifles, only the architecture itself. Using his knowledge of physics and human engineering, he deduced the points where energy conduits ran beneath the floor. Timing, leverage, and creativity were now his allies. The first alien lunged. Elias sidestepped, using a loose panel to trip it, sending it sprawling into the conduit. Sparks flew, and the figure screamed, a sound alien yet horrifying. He moved quickly, triggering a series of floor panels to create barriers and redirect his pursuers. Each step was calculated, yet improvisational, a dance of survival that showcased human ingenuity. Liara's voice echoed softly in his mind, almost approvingly. "You see opportunity where others see only danger. That is humanity's essence, adaptability." The alien figures regrouped, coordinating attacks with unnerving precision. Elias realized brute force alone would not win. He began to improvise environmental traps, overloading energy conduits to create temporary fields that disoriented his opponents, using momentum to send them tumbling over catwalks and baiting them into areas where their own coordination became their weakness. Sweat poured down his face, heart hammering, yet every move was guided by instinct honed over years of survival and leadership. He shouted commands into his communicator, even though he knew Mara and the crew were cut off. "Think, adapt, use your environment." The alien figures faltered. One by one, they were forced to retreat or be incapacitated by their own missteps. Elias's mind raced with strategies, anticipating their attacks, adapting faster than they could coordinate. Humanity's resilience and ingenuity were on full display. Finally, the last alien advanced, larger and more imposing than the rest. Elias faced it directly, fists clenched, ready to use his surroundings. But as it approached, it paused, its head tilting slightly. Liara's voice resonated through the chamber.
Commander Elias, you have demonstrated what few species could: courage in the face of immediate danger, ingenuity under pressure, and the will to protect yourself without abandoning moral choice. Yet your greatest test is not victory, but integrity. Elias froze, sensing a new dimension to the challenge. The alien before him opened its mouth, or equivalent, revealing not weapons, but an artifact, a small device glowing with energy. It was a trigger, a potential catastrophe. Pressing it could eliminate his enemies instantly, but risked harming the ship's delicate systems and perhaps innocent aliens loyal to Lyara. He understood immediately. To win here, he could not rely on force alone. Humanity's greatest strength was choice, guided by conscience. He stepped forward calmly. "I will not sacrifice others to secure my own victory," he said firmly. Using his knowledge of physics, he manipulated the surrounding energy conduits, rerouting power to disable the device safely. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the alien weapon deactivated without harm. The imposing figure stepped back, lowering itself in a gesture of respect, or at least acknowledgement. Elias exhaled, adrenaline surging through him. He had survived the ambush not through superiority, but through adaptability, courage, and moral clarity, traits that defined humans even against more advanced species. Lyara appeared beside him, her eyes shining with approval. Few humans could act with both intellect and ethics under such pressure. You have proven that courage is not merely physical, but moral. This is the trial of action, and humanity has excelled. Elias nodded, still catching his breath. It was necessary. We cannot succeed by harming innocents, even when fear presses us. That's who we are. Lyara smiled faintly, the first trace of warmth Elias had seen from Lyara. Indeed, your species is fragile, yes, but it possesses an indomitable spark. That spark is what allows humans to endure, to adapt, and to inspire others across the stars. Remember this, Commander Elias. Intelligence alone is meaningless without courage and conscience. The atrium shifted, revealing a secure passage leading to the heart of the vessel. Beyond this, Lyara said, a challenge that will test not only your strength, but the strength of those you lead. A faction within my people doubts humanity's worth. They seek to sabotage the alliance before it begins. You must act to protect them, and in doing so, prove the truth of your species' courage. Elias felt a surge of determination. The real trial was just beginning, and he would not fail, not when the future of his crew and perhaps humanity itself hung in the balance. As he moved toward the next chamber, his mind raced with strategies, anticipating challenges, preparing for threats seen and unseen. He knew that human ingenuity, courage, and moral clarity were the weapons he would rely on, qualities that no alien armor, no advanced weapon, no cosmic threat could ever take from him. And somewhere in the depths of the vessel, Lyara watched, her gaze both evaluating and protective, as humanity's essence, its spark of truth and bravery, prepared to face its first true test among the stars.
The corridor ended abruptly, opening into a massive chamber filled with complex machinery that pulsed with energy like the heartbeat of the alien vessel itself. Elias's eyes swept the room, taking in the intricate network of conduits, control panels, and hovering energy orbs that seemed to respond to thought. This was no ordinary challenge. This was a test designed to push him and humanity to the very limit. Lyara appeared beside him, her ethereal form radiating quiet authority. "Commander Elias," she said, her voice calm. "This chamber contains the core of my people's technology. A faction doubts your species. They seek to sabotage the vessel, and by extension, humanity's chance at alliance. You must act to prevent catastrophe." Elias's pulse quickened. "And if I fail?" "You will not fail if you act with courage, intelligence, and conscience," Lyara replied. Your species has proven itself capable of extraordinary feats. Now is the time to demonstrate them in practice." The room trembled. From the shadows, a group of rogue aliens emerged, their armor darker, sleeker, their movements predatory. Unlike the previous encounter, they were coordinated, calculating, and unhesitating in their intent to destroy. Elias took a deep breath, scanning for weaknesses. There were no conventional weapons he could use, but the environment itself offered tools: energy conduits, gravity fields, and the alien technology surrounding him. He quickly assessed the layout. Gravity fields could be temporarily disrupted to disorient the rogue aliens. Energy conduits could be overloaded to create barriers or incapacitate opponents. Hovering control orbs could be manipulated to trigger automated defense mechanisms. "Adapt and improvise," he muttered under his breath. "That's what humans do." The first rogue alien lunged, fast and precise. Elias sidestepped, using a nearby control orb to create a burst of energy that sent it sprawling backward. Sparks erupted, illuminating the chamber in jagged flashes. He moved with deliberate speed, using each obstacle to his advantage. Liara's voice echoed softly, approvingly. "Observe opportunity where others see only danger. Ingenuity is the weapon of your species." The rogue aliens regrouped, coordinating their attacks. Elias realized brute force would not win here. He needed to manipulate the environment, create confusion, and anticipate their strategies. He disrupted the energy conduits, causing temporary gravitational anomalies. The aliens struggled to maintain balance, giving him crucial moments to redirect their movements and neutralize threats without killing. One particularly large rogue alien advanced, wielding a weapon that emitted a concentrated energy beam. Elias's mind raced. He could trigger the nearby conduits to short-circuit the weapon, but doing so risked destabilizing the chamber itself, potentially harming both friend and foe. He took a deep breath, recalling what Liara had said. "Courage alone is not enough. Integrity is equally essential." "I will not harm innocents, even to protect myself," he whispered. Using precise timing and human ingenuity, he redirected the energy flow, causing the rogue alien's weapon to overload harmlessly. Sparks flew, the alien reeled back, and Elias used the moment to create a barrier, forcing the others to retreat. The chamber fell silent for a heartbeat. Elias's heart pounded, sweat slicking his skin, yet he felt a surge of confidence. Humanity's strength was not in perfection or raw power, it was in adaptability, ingenuity, and the moral courage to act rightly under pressure. Liara appeared beside him, her ethereal form shining with approval. "Few species would have succeeded where you have, Commander. Your actions demonstrate that humanity's strength is not in weapons, not in numbers, but in resilience, ingenuity, and moral clarity." Elias nodded, still catching his breath. We do what must be done with what we have. That's humanity's truth." The chamber shifted, revealing a passage leading deeper into the vessel. "Ahead lies the heart of my people. There your species will be evaluated not only for courage, but for alliance and trust. You have proven that humans can face danger and uncertainty without losing integrity. Now you must show that your species can inspire and protect others as well." Elias understood immediately. The challenges ahead would be greater, not just tests of action, but tests of leadership, collaboration, and the very ideals that made humans unique. As he moved towards the next passage, he felt a spark of determination. Humanity had endured impossible odds on countless worlds, overcome fears, and adapted in ways no other species had. That spark, the essence of truth, courage, and ingenuity, would guide him through whatever trials lay ahead. And somewhere in the vessel's depths, Liara watched, silent yet approving, as humanity's essence prepared to face its next trial, proving that it could not only survive, but lead, protect, and inspire in the infinite darkness of the cosmos. The corridor beyond the core chamber stretched like a living thing, pulsing with energy that seemed to breathe. Commander Elias led the way, his senses heightened. Every step carried the weight of responsibility, not just for himself, but for his crew and the fate of humanity's first contact with Liara's people. Liara walked beside him, unarmored and radiant, yet there was an intensity in her gaze that made every human instinct alert. "Ahead," she said softly, "lies the heart of our society. A faction doubts your species' value. They are not hostile merely out of malice, they act out of fear. Fear of unpredictability, fear of a species that dares to defy expectations." Elias nodded. He understood that humans had always faced similar fears, from their own kind as much from outsiders. And yet, humanity had always turned fear into action, chaos into creativity. The chamber doors opened into a vast atrium, filled with hovering platforms and intricate alien machinery. The rogue faction was already there, attempting to disable the control systems that regulated the vessel. They moved with precision, their armor gleaming under the ambient light, their intent clear: sabotage. "Commander Elias," Liara whispered, "they will try to overwhelm you. You must lead, but also inspire. That is your trial." Elias felt the surge of adrenaline he had come to recognize as familiar, almost comforting. He had faced danger alone, but this was different. Now leadership mattered, not brute skill, but the ability to coordinate, strategize, and inspire others. "Crew, listen," he shouted into his communicator. "We may be cut off from direct contact, but our training, instincts, and ingenuity are still ours. Use your environment, protect each other, adapt and act. Humanity's spark will carry us through." From the shadows, the rogue faction lunged. Elias acted first, using a nearby platform to vault over a railing, pulling a loose energy conduit to short-circuit a nearby alien device. Sparks flared, creating temporary cover. The humans, following his lead, began improvising. Debris became barriers, energy conduits became traps, and their movements were unpredictable, chaotic, yet coordinated. Liara observed silently, her eyes narrowing in appreciation. "They do not move with the predictability of your species," she murmured, "yet they adapt faster than expected. There is creativity in their chaos." The rogue faction regrouped, deploying hovering drones that zipped across the chamber, firing concentrated energy beams. Elias reacted instantly. He directed the humans to use the platform's magnetic fields, pulling them down to block the beams. Sparks erupted as drones collided with metallic surfaces. One drone malfunctioned completely, giving a human crew member the opening to disable another. Elias's mind raced. Every action had to account for potential consequences, every decision balanced between offense and defense. He realized the HFY truth of the moment. Humanity thrived not because it was perfect, but because it adapted, learned, and acted with ingenuity under pressure. Liara's voice echoed in his mind. "See, Commander, they survive because they do not rely solely on power. They survive because they think, create, and endure. That is what makes humans exceptional." Elias pressed forward, signaling a team member to manipulate a control panel that regulated energy flow. The rogue faction hesitated, and in that moment, the humans used coordinated maneuvers to incapacitate several attackers without lethal force. Elias felt a surge of pride, not in his own skill, but in the adaptability and courage of his crew. One of the rogue aliens, larger and more imposing than the others, advanced directly towards Elias, wielding an energy blade. Elias ducked and rolled behind a support column, noticing a pattern in the alien's attack. Timing, rhythm, and anticipation, human intuition and experience could turn the tide. He waited for the moment, then used a combination of magnetic fields and leverage from nearby machinery to propel the alien backward, neutralizing it temporarily. His crew cheered softly through their communicators, small victories that reinforced morale, reminding him that humanity's greatest strength lay not in individuals, but in collective ingenuity and resilience. Suddenly, an alarm blared across the chamber. The rogue faction had triggered a secondary system, an environmental hazard designed to flood the chamber with volatile energy. Panels hissed, smoke filled the air, and the floor began to shimmer dangerously.
Elias assessed rapidly. Mara, synchronize the platform grids. Everyone, stay mobile and watch each other's backs. Use the environment to block energy flows. Human reflexes, improvisation, and quick thinking turned the tide. Platforms shifted, creating safe zones. Energy blasts were redirected harmlessly into walls. Even in chaos, the humans adapted faster than the aliens anticipated. Every move displayed not just courage, but strategy and teamwork, qualities that Liara's faction had doubted. Finally, with one last coordinated effort, Elias and his crew isolated the rogue faction, preventing further sabotage. The chamber stabilized, energy flows returned to normal, and the rogue aliens retreated, defeated but unharmed. Liara approached, her gaze studying Elias and the humans around him. Few species could face such a combination of danger, unpredictability, and moral complexity and emerge not only alive but triumphant. You have demonstrated that humanity does not merely survive, it inspires, protects, and leads. That is the spark that sets your species apart. Elias allowed himself a rare moment of relief. Sweat dripped from his brow, his muscles ached, yet he felt an exhilaration that only true accomplishment could bring. Humanity had not just fought, they had prevailed, with intelligence, courage, and conscience. You see now, Commander, Liara said softly, why your species has potential to stand among the stars. Not because you are the strongest, or the fastest, or the most technologically advanced, but because you possess the capacity to act with integrity, ingenuity, and bravery when all odds seem against you. That is what inspires loyalty. That is what earns respect. That is what builds alliances. Elias nodded, finally allowing himself a genuine smile. Then we'll keep proving it wherever the challenge takes us. That is humanity's truth, and we will not falter. Liara inclined her head. The trial is not yet complete, but you have crossed a pivotal threshold. Ahead lies the path to full alliance and new challenges that will test every facet of your species. Courage and truth alone will guide you. Your ingenuity and humanity will determine your success. Elias turned to look at his crew, feeling a surge of pride. They had faced overwhelming odds, adapted under pressure, and preserved both life and moral clarity. Humanity had shown its spark, the capacity to endure, inspire, and prevail, not through perfection, but through resilience, courage, and ingenuity. And somewhere in the vessel, Liara watched, her gaze both evaluative and approving. Humanity had faced a crucible of fire, yet emerged not merely unbroken, but illuminated, its spark ready to light the path across the stars.
The chamber beyond the atrium opened into a panoramic observatory, stretching out into the vast emptiness of space. Stars glittered like scattered diamonds, and distant planets orbited silently. For the first time, Elias allowed himself a moment to take in the beauty around him. It was awe-inspiring, almost humbling, but there was no time to linger. Liara's ethereal form appeared beside him. "Commander Elias," she said softly, her eyes reflecting the distant galaxies, "you have proven courage, ingenuity, and integrity. Now you must prove that your species can forge bonds, inspire trust, and act as partners in a universe that does not forgive recklessness." Elias nodded, understanding that this trial would test not just humans' abilities, but their capacity for alliance. "We will prove that humanity is not only resilient, but worthy of trust." Ahead, a platform descended into the heart of the vessel, a command center that controlled not only the ship, but a network of satellites and stations crucial to Liara's species' operations. Here the rogue faction had retreated, but they were regrouping, their presence threatening the stability of the vessel. "This is the final test," Liara said. "You must negotiate, strategize, and, if necessary, confront those who doubt you. Victory alone is insufficient. You must demonstrate wisdom, morality, and leadership." Elias felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, tempered now by experience. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and moral dilemmas, and he had emerged, not just intact, but stronger, guided by humanity's spark, courage, ingenuity, and conscience. The rogue faction emerged from the shadows, their movements cautious but deliberate. Elias raised his hands in a gesture of diplomacy. "We do not seek unnecessary conflict, but your actions endanger lives, both human and alien loyal to Liara. Step aside, and we can resolve this peacefully." The leader of the rogue faction, larger and more imposing than the others, tilted its head, studying him. Its voice resonated in the chamber, strange and melodic, yet full of authority. "Humans are unpredictable. They are reckless. How can we trust that they will not destroy everything we hold dear?" Elias stepped forward, his voice calm but unwavering. "We do not act recklessly. We assess, adapt, and act with integrity. You saw how we handled the atrium, the rogue attack, and the environmental hazards. We did not destroy. We did not compromise morals. We adapted and protected all lives. That is humanity's truth." Liara's gaze softened. "Speak boldly, human. They must see your essence, not just your words." Elias continued, drawing on every lesson he had learned. "Trust is not given lightly, nor should it be. It is earned through action, through courage, through shared purpose. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we do not abandon our principles. We do not sacrifice the innocent for power. That is what makes humans capable of alliances that endure." The rogue leader paused, as if considering his words. Around them, the other aliens remained tense, their weapons ready, yet uncertain. Elias seized the moment. "Join us," he said firmly. "Work with us, not against us. Together we can stabilize this vessel, protect your people, and ensure that no one is harmed unnecessarily. That is not weakness, it is strength. That is the spark that humanity brings to the universe." The chamber fell silent. For what felt like an eternity, Elias waited, his eyes unwavering, his presence calm yet commanding. Slowly, the rogue leader lowered its weapon. "Perhaps your species is not as reckless as we feared," it said finally. "You have acted with courage and reason. We will follow temporarily, but know this: trust must be proven continuously." Elias allowed himself a quiet nod, a surge of relief and pride flooding him. Humanity had not only survived, but inspired trust, demonstrated leadership, and shown that moral clarity could prevail even under extreme pressure. Liara stepped forward, her expression serene. "Commander Elias, you have done what few species could. You have survived trials of mind, body, and spirit. You have inspired loyalty where doubt once prevailed. You have acted with integrity, courage, and ingenuity. Humanity's spark shines brightly, and it is worthy of alliance." Elias felt a rare warmth spread through him. Humanity was fragile, flawed, and unpredictable, but it possessed a spark unlike any other. Courage under pressure, creativity in chaos, integrity under threat. These qualities had carried his species from the first fire to the edge of the stars. The rogue faction, now standing alongside them, began to assist in stabilizing the vessel. Energy conduits were rerouted, systems recalibrated, and potential hazards neutralized. Elias coordinated seamlessly, his leadership blending human ingenuity with strategic precision. Liara watched, her eyes reflecting the stars beyond the chamber. "The trials are not over," she said softly, "but humanity has earned the right to be seen as equals, not merely as survivors. You have shown what makes your species exceptional." Elias allowed himself a brief moment of reflection. Humanity was fragile, flawed, and unpredictable, but it possessed a spark unlike any other. Courage under pressure, creativity in chaos, integrity under threat. These qualities had carried his species from the first fire to the edge of the stars. The rogue faction leader stepped forward, offering a gesture of alliance. "Human, you have proven the essence of your species. Let us move forward together as partners, not adversaries."
Elias extended his hand. Agreed. Together we can achieve far more than any species could alone. Together we can reach the stars safely and wisely. Liara's voice resonated through the chamber, both a statement and a benediction. This is the bond forged, not by power, not by weapons, but by courage, truth, and ingenuity. Humanity has earned its place among us, and the galaxy will remember the spark that burns within your species. Elias exhaled, his heart swelling with pride. The trials had been grueling, the dangers unprecedented, yet humanity had endured, adapted, and inspired. The spark of courage, ingenuity, and moral clarity had carried them through, and it would continue to guide them into the unknown. As the vessel stabilized, and alien and human alike worked together in harmony, Elias looked out at the endless expanse of stars. The universe was vast, full of danger and wonder, but he felt no fear. Humanity's spark would shine, a beacon of resilience, courage, and truth among the stars. And somewhere nearby, Liara watched silently, knowing that the bond forged today would ripple across galaxies, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit.
The vessel's core hummed with renewed energy, stabilized under the combined efforts of humans and Liara's allies. The rogue faction had integrated into the operation, their skepticism replaced with cautious respect. For the first time, Elias allowed himself a brief glance at his crew, faces illuminated by the soft glow of alien technology, exhausted yet triumphant. Liara appeared beside him, her ethereal presence radiant against the backdrop of the stars outside the observation deck. "Commander Elias, you and your species have endured trials that few others could survive. You have proven intelligence, courage, ingenuity, and integrity. But this is only the beginning." Elias straightened, determination flaring in his chest. "Then we'll continue to prove it. Humanity doesn't shy away from the impossible." Beyond the observation deck, the vast expanse of the galaxy stretched endlessly. Systems teeming with life, civilizations unknown, and countless worlds waiting to be explored. Elias realized that their trials aboard Liara's vessel were not merely tests, they were preparation. Humanity's spark would soon face the galaxy itself. A sudden vibration ran through the vessel. Panels along the walls flickered with warnings. "Commander," Liara said, her tone sharp now, "an external threat approaches. A coalition of hostile species has detected our presence. They doubt your species' capabilities and intend to strike." Elias felt the familiar surge of adrenaline. He had faced simulations, environmental hazards, rogue factions, but now the stakes were real. Not just survival, but the survival of his crew, the vessel, and the fragile alliance they were building. "Prepare defensive protocols," he commanded. "We've adapted before, and we will do it again. Humanity survives not because it is flawless, but because it faces the impossible with ingenuity and courage." The vessel's systems responded under human guidance, recalibrated by Elias and his crew in real time. Energy shields activated, weapon arrays hummed to life, and strategic nodes synchronized with precision. Liara observed, her eyes reflecting the rapid calculations and quick decisions being made. The hostile fleet emerged, an imposing armada of alien vessels, each bristling with weapons designed to overwhelm. Yet Elias did not falter. He analyzed their formations, anticipating maneuvers, and devised counter-strategies in seconds. His crew moved seamlessly under his command, improvising tactics, adapting to changing threats, and exploiting weaknesses the alien attackers had not anticipated. "You see, Liara," Elias said, voice calm but firm, "this is who we are. Not the strongest, not the fastest, but the species that adapts, endures, and prevails." The battle erupted, stars outside the observation deck streaking as ships moved in coordinated chaos. Elias's ingenuity shone. He rerouted energy flows, created feints, and used the vessel's unique architecture to gain tactical advantage. Liara's allies observed in awe as humans turned near-certain danger into a display of strategic brilliance.
One of the enemy vessels breached the shields, aiming directly at the vessel's core. Elias acted instantly. Using a combination of magnetic fields, energy conduits, and precise timing, he redirected the incoming attack, neutralizing the threat without causing collateral damage. His crew followed suit, adapting on the fly, displaying creativity and courage that even Liara admitted was remarkable. "Commander," Liara's voice echoed, "your species embodies what I hoped to see, the spark that inspires, that protects, that leads. Humanity is more than survivors. They are innovators, warriors of intellect and morality." As the battle raged, Elias coordinated maneuvers that merged human creativity with Liara's advanced systems. They turned the enemy's strength against them, using the attacker's formations and predictable tactics to create openings, neutralize threats, and protect all lives involved. Finally, the hostile fleet retreated, unable to penetrate the combined ingenuity and strategy of human and Liara's allies. Silence fell across the vessel. The stars outside the observation deck glimmered unbroken by the chaos of battle. Humanity had not only survived, but led, inspired, and protected, demonstrating their worth in the most extreme conditions imaginable. Elias exhaled deeply, sweat and exhaustion mingling with pride. Liara approached, her presence radiant. "Commander Elias, you have proven beyond doubt that humanity possesses the qualities that can shape the galaxy: courage, ingenuity, moral clarity, and leadership. The trials were not merely tests, they were lessons, preparation for the universe that awaits." He nodded, finally allowing himself to smile. "Then humanity is ready. Not perfect, not flawless, but ready to face whatever lies ahead with courage and truth." Liara's gaze softened. "And they will. Your species' spark will not only survive, it will illuminate the path for others. Remember this, Commander. The galaxy is vast, full of danger and wonder, but it is also full of opportunity. Humanity's light will shine among the stars." Elias looked back at his crew, their exhaustion tempered by triumph. Each of them had faced unimaginable challenges and adapted. Each had demonstrated courage, ingenuity, and resilience, the very essence of humanity. "Humans," he said, voice carrying through the vessel, "today we have not only survived, but inspired. We have shown that even in the darkest voids of space, our spark brightens brightly. Let this be the first of many steps into the universe. Together, we will explore, endure, and illuminate the stars." Liara extended her hand toward him. "Commander Elias, on behalf of my people and in recognition of your species' resilience, creativity, and integrity, I welcome humanity into the Interstellar Alliance. May your spark continue to guide the galaxy." Elias shook her hand, feeling the gravity of the moment. The trials, the battles, the moral choices, all had led to this point. Humanity had proven itself, not through dominance, but through ingenuity, courage, and conscience. As the vessel drifted silently among the stars, stabilized and at peace, Elias knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity's spark had been recognized, its light had been seen, and its place in the galaxy was secured, not because it was perfect, but because it embodied the qualities that made it unique, resilient, and worthy of trust. The stars stretched endlessly before him, each one a reminder of worlds yet to explore, civilizations yet to meet, countless challenges yet to face. But Elias felt no fear. Humanity's light would endure. Humanity's courage would guide them, and humanity's spark, resilient, moral, and indomitable, would shine brightly, illuminating the cosmos for generations to come. Liara watched silently, her eyes reflecting distant galaxies. Humanity had faced trials of mind, body, and spirit, and emerged not just unbroken, but triumphant. The bond forged today would echo across the stars, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. And somewhere in the infinite expanse of the universe, that spark, a light born of courage, truth, and ingenuity, blazed brightly, promising hope, inspiration, and the undeniable presence of humanity among the stars. The galaxy had seen humanity's light, and it will never forget it.